Okay, we're live. We're recording. All right. What an interesting process, right?
You made it.
Okay.
So what do we want to chat about first?
I don't know.
Did anyone get a chance to watch the sample debate?
Watched a few seconds of it.
I started watching it before we got on this call.
Oh, yeah, it was really short.
Yeah, it was very short. I didn't really get a whole lot out of it, honestly.
Yeah, but I think what was at least made somewhat clear to me was that one person just states for the pro side and one person just states for the con side, and they cover all the ground, it seems like. Yes? No? Maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think we might be able to set it up however we want, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know. So I think for the debate outline, I guess kind of the nice part is everyone could probably just fill in their role.
Right.
Like, we could do it kind of Google Docs style again.
Yeah.
And everyone just fill in basically like what they briefly plan to say. Sort of.
Right. Now, like, half my brain is thinking about what else I have to research. Right.
Yes. I know, the pro side's going to be hard.
Yeah. Now, like, I keep thinking about, like, where can I look for stuff? Yeah. I think I'll be able to find stuff.
Right. I think we're going to find some stuff, but I think a lot of it is going to be, like, opinionated and theoretical.
Right.
And I don't know how much, like, data supporting it we're going to find.
I
There's
have
so much data against it.
I have one article that I'm gonna post stuff on it, but it's like it does have data about how crime within schools has decreased since it has started. So it has stuff on that, but there's a lot of negative stuff to it too. But there's at least
there's so many articles that like contradict even that part of it too.
And they have graphs and data and stuff like that. So I figured if you have graphs, then that's at least some sort of stuff that they've done to kind of figure that out.
That's why I was thinking using, like, the where it came from and why that, like, how it inspired zero tolerance now and kind of do it that way. Like, this is how it's supposed to work. It's not our fault that everyone is mean about it, but at least you can see, like, how it worked in the past, what inspired it, and then.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I was trying to find, like, current articles, but I wonder if we went back and looked at older articles from where it first was implemented.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have. Because it came from it was like a fixing broken windows thing, and it pretty much means, like, if you leave. I didn't really read it, but it was like if windows are unbroken, then and crime is happening, the crime will happen more because they're not. So it's like fix the small things, the big things. So that's where it came from. So in my references, I have the link to the thingy. I just haven't read it yet. But that's where it came from. So it was like you have to fix the small things to fix the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if that has any information, then that would help. But that's where it came from. So at least you can kind of see why it was thought to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My article is about a generation later, so it's in 2013.
Oh, wow.
The one that has, I found some other ones, but they don't have a lot of info that's relevant to my side. But this one is from 2013, so it goes back and it looks at what were the reasons why they started it, and then how has it looked since then. So it has data tracking from when it started to when it's now, basically.
Well, that's good. That's a good start, at least.
Yeah.
I think we all just could look for more, hopefully, pro articles or even pro anecdotes.
Mm-hmm.
Could be very helpful. Like, actually,
if we could use like the next couple of days to search for pro, because I really wasn't looking for either direction. You know, I was looking more for just like general information.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if we all just take a couple days to look for pro stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I
I
definitely.
think all the con is gonna, like, we've already found a lot, and finding more I don't think will be hard if we need more.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's a good idea for the next couple of days, is to all try and find in whatever area anything that's pro, anything at all.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I read too was that like it's not that the zero tolerance policy, like people take it and they run with it and do things that are way past what was expected in the law and stuff. So that's the issue. It's not the law, and it's not what they're trying to do. It's how everyone deals with it. So at least if we bring it back to like what it's supposed to be, and then
Right, and that could
murder
be an interesting argument for the pro side, is it's not that zero tolerance is the problem, it's the way that it's been implemented.
Mhm.
I mean, they're not supposed to be treating people unequally. It's just mean people. So at least
Right.
we can do that.
Yeah, I read an article where about the, part of it started was like for the gun control, where a kid was suspended for like, like an elementary kid for like using their fingers to like point a gun, so.
It definitely needs to be scaled back to a case-by-case basis, but all of like the horror stories that are out right now are totally just because of people in authority who are not handling it the right way.
Yeah, this article too, there's a lot in this article, by the way, but this article talks about how, how taking out, like saying that there's no guns allowed in school has made it look like the students are the ones to be feared because they're afraid that they're going to bring guns to school. So that's kind of what's making it this big deal in a way, because they're saying, taking guns out of school makes it more safe, but who's going to say that a kid is actually going to bring a gun to school? Because
Right.
is that there's only 5% of expulsion have to do with a weapon. So the rest of them that go along with this law, there's like 43% that go along with this law that are kind of lumped in, that have to do with some sort of violence that doesn't have anything to do with a weapon. So I thought that was really interesting because it was put into place because of a weapon.
Mhm.
And now it's not even about that anymore.
Right.
Right, it's gone so much further past that to now, like, bullying, harassment,
Mhm.
very broad terms of weapon, like pointing your fingers,
It's also like bringing
Getting
Advil.
a desk.
Right.
There's a lot of stories where like someone accidentally brought, or not accidentally, but brought Advil and they got in trouble, or someone, like, Boy Scout left one of the utility knives in his car and he got in trouble. Just like you have to bring it back to what this is supposed to be, and then like don't go crazy. Authority. Same.
Hey, Melissa, what's the name of that article? I know you and I are both on the pro side.
It is, let me go back up. It's called A Generation Later, What We've Learned About Zero Tolerance in Schools.
Okay.
When you look it up, it's orange. So when you like pull it up, the title is orange. And it's Vera, VERA.org.
Okay.
And that, but that's the main part of it.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if even we talked about like things that happened before it was in place, like the shootings and stuff. Like I feel like if we scale it back to like what it's supposed to be, like shootings, like I wonder if we find information about like what happened before it was in place and what happened after. There's got to be stories of people being of like where it actually helped. I mean, the idea is good. They don't want there to be violence. They don't want anyone to get hurt. But then they've just taken it and run with it. There's got to be.
I mean, even just in our general school, I live in a small town, but they do like, they'll bring the police in and do like raids of lockers, or bring their dogs in, and I mean they're finding stuff in there. So I mean, that would be a positive. You know what I mean? That I think has come about because of the zero tolerance.
Right.
More so.
There are a lot of positives to it. It's
Well,
just-
there's like some of the other articles that I read that were, I just from them, is that kind of like, it reminds me of, what movie is that? Save the Last Dance, when all the violence that's in the schools at that point in time. So there were people bringing guns to school and like gangs and things like that. So the more inner city sections of things, there was that type of violence going on where they were threatening to kill people and that kind of thing, where people just kind of looked past it. And so that's kind of where some of this came from.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's not so much of that in the school anyway. So it has decreased a lot because of this. So,
Because of zero tolerance, yeah.
Weird.
I actually just found that article.
yeah.
I wasn't even searching for it specifically, so.
Yeah, and it's short too, so it's a nice little read.
I don't know, there's got to be some kind of healthy balance between being super crazy about it, just keep everyone safe without getting everyone in trouble from it.
Yeah, it's just the interpretation of it, and I think the biases probably of teachers or school staff, you know.
And that every school, every school, they could have policy and they don't enforce it the right way. Like, but my last school had a policy, obviously, but I worked in a wicked intensive needs classroom, and I got bit. But like, nothing happened. Like, they kind of just turn a blind eye when it just not enforced how it should be, and it's all wrong.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting how some of the zero tolerance has spread to things like disrespectfulness that really like can't be defined actually in a way that makes it uniformly instituted. Like rolling your eyes can be a zero tolerance policy, which is just a little ridiculous. So I think that's kind of an interesting adaptation of it, that it's gone in that direction.
Yeah.
'Cause that's like zero tolerance for teenagers, all of that.
Goodbye to all teenagers.
Exactly. So.
I have staff that roll their eyes. I've had to have conversations about. So.
Yeah. I'm sure
I came across an article that talks about the pipeline to prison.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. It was pretty intense. I was like, wow.
Bring it back to like the criminal crime side of it, because that's what started it all. So seeing how those studies went,
right.
I think that's the side to look at.
Yeah. So what was interesting about the article I came across was, there was kids that were getting expelled for really minor things, but because they were kicked out of the school and they had so many days out of the school, they ended up going down a path that led them to prison. Whereas if they didn't get expelled for this minor thing, they may not have gone that route.
There's so many statistics of why it doesn't work. It's so
right, that's what makes it hard, is like there's just a lot of evidence that at least the way we're instituting it now, empirically, it doesn't work. It's not effective.
Right.
They're killing the kids who don't want to be at school anyway, so they're just loving it.
Yeah, that's what I posted on the discussion board too. I work with foster care, and so most of them, they have intense trauma, and so they know how to get out of school. They know how to get suspended, Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's minimal.
Stay in school and be supported and not be
right.
My kids get mad when we don't kick them out.
What do you say, Melissa?
My kids get mad when we don't kick them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because they're expecting it, and that's what they want.
And they're like, well, what do I have to do now to get kicked out?
Huh?
Then they just wonder what the next thing they have to do is get kicked out.
I had a kid cuss me out probably like 4 or 5 days before the last day of school. And I was like, dude, are you serious? Because he had to leave. And I was like, I wish I could do that sometimes. Just cuss a superior out and be like, toodles.
Have like a 5-day break. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we had one kid in my school recently who had to leave, and I'm in an elementary school. It's little kids, but he was spitting on people and swearing, and it was really bad. And as he walks out the door, he's like, bye-bye, see you later, have a good weekend. And we're like, oh.
Wait, come back. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that was just the worst.
Gotta keep them in the schools.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's stuff like that that's going to be really hard to refute, so we've got to just find... maybe go back and find the original evidence for why we started this in the first place.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think we're going to have to go back to where they thought it was a good idea,
Right.
Yeah.
I have the one that I was mentioning, the broken window thing. I added it to the references, so you guys can check that out too. That's what.
Okay, thanks.
Other than that, I feel like you just got to go back to the actual guidelines and laws that have of zero tolerance and what it's supposed to be, and go from that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the crazy things that people do when they have authority in their hands. Okay, if you go back to what it's supposed to be, it's keeping people safe.
Right. I think that's where the argument is going to be.
Yeah.
So I guess for next time, over the next couple of days, researching pro,
Definitely.
mainly.
I didn't even think about it last week that we should have like did both sides of each one of
Right,
them.
I didn't either. I guess I kind of assumed both sides would just naturally come up,
Yeah.
and they did not.
I found one.
Are you researching right
I
now?
searched specifically for pro.
Me
and it
too.
didn't work.
There's people out there who, I mean, I'm sure there's stories of parents of kids who, like, it saved them, and, like, things were actually against it. We just need to find those that are a lot harder to find.
That's going to be very persuasive, too. You know, like the actual anecdotes of when it worked.
Yeah, and when they actually caught something or...
Mm-hmm.
Some of this I don't agree with, but that's all right. I like reading through it. It's about like overprotective parents, basically, is what all this. It doesn't say that, but as you're looking through it, you're like, "Are you serious? Why are you worried about this?"
Well, and then also, like I read, like the higher the academic level of the school, like the more strict the policies, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It should be a case-by-case basis. It's just crazy that it's like this is what happened, that's it. Like, you're done. Like,
right.
With things like that, someone had a Pop-Tart and they bit a gun at, like, a gun shape. Like, that shit is just so silly.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make kids lie that
You have
way.
kids, too, with, like, video games and stuff like that, because so many of my kids play video games all the time, and then their parents don't care and they don't watch, because we have inner city kids that are just like, sit you in front of a TV and you'll be fine. And so they play all these really violent video games, and they come in and they don't think anything of it, and they're just like all day.
It's a big deal to play, you know, bad guys.
Yeah, when it's not their fault, it's their parents' fault.
Yeah.
I played with fake guns and all that when I was little, you know.
Yeah.
I was raised with brothers, so.
The issue is you have a real-life gun at school. Yes or no? Like, it hurts anyone with the fake. It's just so silly. There's a way to talk about it and make a good situation out of something instead of just sending them away and calling it a day. It's like the easy way out for the authorities.
I read an article earlier today where there was like a first grader that her mom sent her lunch, and she sent an apple and like a little knife that wouldn't cut you, but she took it straight to the teacher and they suspended her.
Oh, crazy.
There's so many stories.
Yeah, there's so many stories like that that are just crazy.
It needs like a whole revamping of the whole thing. It's gotta be fixed.
One of my second graders brought a water gun to school at the beginning of the year. He got suspended, and I was like, "What?"
Those are fun.
That could cause some real damage.
And it was like this little bitty one, and the teacher saw it and sent him to the office, which is fine. He gets into the office because you have to know that you can't bring a gun to school.
Right.
But
That's
really,
when you're gonna fix it.
suspending him for that time is ridiculous.
I was reading something about, like, some kind of, I forget what it was, someone who put something in place, but it was like, talk to the kid and talk about what happened, like, who it could have had changed in the future, and, like, that's the way you gotta do it, like, actually talk it out and change it so that, instead of just sending them away and making them mad, and,
Right.
You know,
but what's crazy is it's actually, like, a legal enforcement. Like, if you're publicly funded, you have to have some kind of zero-tolerance policy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so open to interpretation, so it's just...
Yeah.
Shouldn't be.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think researching pro is good. We could start... Do you guys want to... how do you guys want to do the outline? Do you want to do it like a Google Docs thing? Do you want to do it together when we do our meeting? Do you want to... Okay, that's actually...
I was thinking that we could do a Google Doc, but like I can just kind of copy what we have in the other Google Doc and put it in a new one. You guys can like look at it and tell me if anything needs to be changed, and then I can submit it.
Well, I think we need more of a. My understanding of the like instructions is you need more of like a how it's actually gonna. Like,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Not,
So I was thinking that we could talk today about like who's gonna do what specifically and how much time we want to talk on each topic.
right.
And I can put that in the outline, and then I can bring some of the information from what we've already put on the other doc into the outline, and you guys can look at it, adjust it as needed, and then I can turn it in.
Okay.
That sound good to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to figure out kind of what everyone's role within the pro-con thing is.
Right.
I just found a good article. I'm thinking too, like Melissa, it might be good for us to talk like this weekend, since we're kind of on the same side of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in terms of my roles, so obviously I start with introduce all of us, and then say what each of us are going to be doing, and then end up closing with the fielding, which I don't quite understand that yet because I don't understand how you have the questions yet, or if it's just questions you anticipate coming up or whatever. But in the sample one, the guy, he introduced all the people, and then he was going to introduce one side, and someone else was going to introduce the other side. I'm happy to introduce both sides. I don't care. I think that kind of makes sense.
I agree. I think that makes sense.
Okay. So I think that's at least the first part, and then we can either, I don't know if you want to go pro first, con first, or if you, where I'm confused is, do you go back and forth with each other, or is it like one person blurts it all out for the pro and one person blurts it all out for the con?
I need to look it up. I'm trying to find the outline thingy right now.
Well, and we wanted to do the conversation one, right?
Right. So what I don't know if that's back and forth a lot, or if it's just like informally stating, like, here's pretty much the pro position, here's pretty much the con position, here's how we illustrate both those. The end.
Right. So if I remember correctly, when I watched the video, the example, it was very like informal, and they just stated one person talks about one side, and then another person talks about the other side.
Okay.
So will we go? So how will we? I guess the question: how will we go by topic? Like, will you facilitate that as like the introduction person? Like, will you? I don't even know what you.
Right.
You know
so that's where my question is: do we go back and forth pro con by topic, or do you go pro? You kind of go through all the topics. Con, you kind of go through all the topics at once. You know what I'm saying?
And then we have a summary.
Because it's going to have to be structured a little bit, you know. I just think about like a presidential debate, you know, which I know is formal, but somebody like asks the questions or at least leads into the question, you know.
Rachel, what if we did you like introducing everybody and then introducing each topic, and then after you introduce the topic, we do pro side, con side, or vice versa. And then we move on to the next topic.
Okay.
I agree.
Is that too formal, though, for the informal, like...
I feel like let's just submit it in the outline, and if it is, she'll give us feedback, right, on...
Yeah.
This seems like too much of a formal debate. Because, I mean, we've got weeks before we actually have to do the debate.
Right.
At least if we get feedback, we can go from there and not just...
Right. I feel like we could formulate the outline kind of how we're envisioning it and just see what she does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good news. I actually just found statistics from where it was implemented, where they had like at one school like a 95% drop in violent behavior on campus.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, so apparently there are articles out there. So
Out there.
You just gotta search really hard for them.
Yeah.
Okay, so what topic do we want to do first? Like, do we want to start with the history?
Yeah, I think
so.
So would that'd be pretty neutral, right? So would I go over the history, or like, is there pros and cons to the history? I don't know. That part
I think it would be a neutral thing because the debate leading up to it was all just straight facts.
Yeah, I think that's the lead-in. It says, because it says using her own words and gives a lead-in for the counterpoint. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do that. I'll introduce all of us, and then I'll introduce zero tolerance in general and the history of it, and then we can lead into, and also cover theory, which really overlaps with history so much. Like, when you know the history, you know the theory pretty much. Mm-hmm. And then, so I guess that just leaves the points of political, economic, and social impact, legal issues, and is it evidence-based? So those, I guess, would be our three main topics.
And real stories.
Right. But I think for each topic, we could probably have some real stories incorporated.
That's true. I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
So hold on. So say that one more. Legal. What topics did you say? Sorry.
No, you're fine. So start with introducing all of us.
Right.
Introduce the history and the theory.
Right.
And then that would leave the three main topics of impact, legal issues, and is it evidence-based?
Okay.
So I kind of think it's, just the way I just said that, it kind of makes sense to maybe start with, is it evidence-based?
I like that idea.
Just because that's at least very...
more general.
Right, and it's data-driven. Whereas, the impact and the legal issues are a little more subjective.
Yeah. I agree.
And can be more debated, sort of.
Right. I need to research so bad. I'm trying to process it all.
I know. I'm my brain is
At least if we have an outline, we can all put information, go from there.
Right.
I think it'll come together once we actually do it.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just kind of so vague,
Right. It's just so vague and feels overwhelming, but each little piece is gonna go in.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Right.
Do you think we need to do a separate one too for the position and strategies to address the problem?
So to address the problem, so that part, I did remember reading that in the debate outline, but I'm confused about, is it the problem of violence in schools? Is it saying should we offer alternatives to zero tolerance, or saying...
I think there's ways to fix what's going on. I think it's more of a overall, do it case by case, that kind of thing. Just because even on the pro side, there's still problems. It's not, and both sides. I mean, it's still problems. I feel like it's a not one-sided thing. I feel like it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Make it better.
Right. So yeah, I think that could be a good closing topic of the pro people could even say it's not zero tolerance that's the problem. It's the way it's being implemented. Here's what we can change.
Exactly.
And the con people can say, we just need to get rid of it altogether if that's what you guys think, or, implement a totally different system.
Yeah. I mean, it just needs to be better.
Right.
Case by case. Be nice to each other. Protect people, but don't be mean.
And then we would end with the fielding, which is something I'm going to be doing. I just have no idea what it is yet.
We'll help you. I just haven't looked into it yet.
Right. The description, I'm okay, this theoretically makes sense, but who's asking the questions that I'm answering?
You ask them yourself and answer them yourself.
Right.
I think that there's some kind of audience. I don't know how, but when I was watching the example, it looked like they were reading questions from people who are watching the debate, live.
I don't understand how that works because we don't watch
Me neither.
I think it just says any questions that you can, basically you can anticipate somebody asking.
Okay, so any questions we think would come up.
I think so.
You won't be on your own. We'll help you.
Thank you.
You're not stuck with it.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm just like, well, if we anticipate the question, why wouldn't we just answer it already in the debate?
Right.
And I bet if we like practice it or whatever, like you're gonna have like if you watch this debate it, you're gonna have questions.
Right, something comes up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good start.
Yeah, I have a lot to read. I have so many thoughts going through my head. And I have to go do more homework, so this is going to be great.
Me too.
Never ending.
Nope.
Right. So, do we want, because we're supposed to have some timelines put in the debate. So how do we want to do, like, because it's like 45 minutes from start to finish, 30 to 45. So do we want to do like 10 minutes per topic? I guess that might be a little long.
Yeah, with the intro and the fielder part, we probably don't need that much.
Right.
Because we had impact legal issues, is it evidence-based, and then position and strategy. So we have 4 topics, basically.
Right, plus the intro and the fielding.
So maybe like, I don't know, 8 minutes for the topics and like 5 minutes for intro and 5 minutes for fielding. What's that? 8 times 4. Oh god, I'm about to try and do math in my head.
Wow. Know that right now?
So you said 8 minutes per topic, so 8 times 4, 32. 32 plus. Do you think it's going to be over if we do that long?
Probably.
What about 6 minutes? It'd be 3 per.
Or if we did 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
then we would have a little leeway. If we went over, we would have a little leeway.
I think so. 5 times 4 would be 20. So, I mean.
And then we would be at 30.
Right. I mean, I think the topics would probably take a little longer than the introduction and the fielding, I would guess.
Yeah.
But at least if we just budget 5 minutes for all of them, at least then we have a 15-minute cushion, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get a feel of how much information we have for each, and then we can go from there, probably.
Right,
too.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
So 5 minutes for each. And then do we want to split up with who's going to do what topic and pro con?
I feel like we need more research in the pro before we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we should do research, and then in a few days we can kind of reconvene.
Right. And I think even if on the outline we just left it generally like pro was these 2 people and con was these 2 people, it probably would be okay.
Right.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Well, because I think that most of the topics can have multiple people, so I don't know that it matters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, I think that's true.
Right now we just need to get the information in there. Whoa, that was loud. Was that me?
No, sorry, that was
I'm so confused. Yeah, as long as we have the information there, as far as the outline, we'll be okay. Like, we'll have to meet again anyways. But, yeah, we can go from there.
Yeah, so let's start the Google Doc, and we can all start doing pro research, and then kind of see where we're at in a couple days.
I agree.
That sounds good. I have another outline going, so we can kind of narrow down all the details that we have in the other one into what we actually turn into the teacher.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Say like that we'll have the pro info together by like Saturday a certain time or something to give you time to, or give us time to finish the outline or to firm it up.
Yeah, I think that will be all right. So are we wanting to do another face-to-face meeting before we turn in the outline, or do we just want to like do stuff on Google Doc and communicate through texting? What are we wanting to do?
Yeah, I mean, as long as we get the outline in, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll have to talk face-to-face, like, in the near future.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think maybe let's just see how texting goes, and if we feel like we need
to meet, then we can.
Schedule one.
Right. Yeah, let's see what we can find.
Yeah, just see where everyone gets with their research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there, and we'll see what we have to do.
Okay, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
So I already have, I'll email you guys with the new doc when we're done.
All right. Thank you.
And we can add and adjust as needed.
Sounds good.
Everyone feels good?
Yep. Yeah.
So excited about more research?
Actually, part of it now.
Yay!
All right. That's fine.
All right, so I guess we'll text with whatever needed, and we'll update the Google Doc, and then we'll find another time to talk face to face.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
All right.
Nice talking to y'all.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.